So today is the appearance day of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, and we will be singing this melody, this poem, to begin the class with. Gauranga karuna koro dinahina jane mos mosamopatita prabhu nahi tribhuvane mosamopatita prabhu nahi tribhuvane dante trinadhari gauram taki ghe tumhare dante trinadhari gauram taki hai tumhare kripa kariye so amar hridaya mandire kripa kariye so amar hridaya mandire Gauranga karuna karo dinahina jane Gauranga karuna karo dinahina jane mosamopatita prabhu nahi drituvane mosamopatita prabhu nahi drituvane jadindaya nakari hai patita dekhiya jadindaya nakari hai patita dekhiya patita pavananama kisra lagiya patita pavananama kisra lagiya Gauranga karuna karo dinahina jane Gauranga karuna karo dinahina jane mosamopatita prabhu nahi drituvane mosamopatita prabhu nahi drituvane Adichiva hatupane nahi kanisara Adichiva hatupane nahi kanisara Shri charana taranidhane dasikara bhara Shri charana taranidhane dasikara bhara Gauranga karuna karo dinahina jane Gauranga karuna karo dinahina jane Mosamopatita Prabhu Nahidrito Hane Nahidrito Hane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasaranudasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasaranudasa Prarthana Karaye Sadha Naratammadasa Prarthana Karaye Sadha Naratammadasa. Everybody together. Gauranga Karuna Koro Ina Ina Jahane Mosamopatita Prabhu Nahidritu Vahane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We can read the translation together. Oh, my dear Lord Gauranga, please show your mercy to this lowly and destitute soul. Oh Lord, there is no one more fallen than myself in all the three worlds. Holding grass between my teeth, O Lord Gaura, I'm calling out to you now. Please be compassionate upon me and come to reside within the temple of my heart. Number 3. If you do not give your mercy, seeing how fallen I am, then why are you known as Patita Pavana, the merciful savior of the fallen? I'm plunged amidst the violent hurricane-stricken waves in the ocean of this material world, from which there is no escape. Kindly give me the gift of your divine lotus feet, which are compared to a boat in which your servant may cross over the ocean of birth and death. Narottama Das, the servant of the servant, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ceaselessly makes this prayer. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Narottama Das Thakur Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today is the celebration of the appearance day of Srila Narottama Das Thakur, a super excellent personality in our line. So I'm going to be reading from different sources and talking about different things. There is a video on Srila Narottama Das Thakur by a devotee called Sitala Dasi, who has written a book and about the life of Srila Narottama Thakur. And the book is delectable, and the way she explains, the way she talks in YouTube, Sitala Dasi. Sitala Dasi, Mother Sitala Dasi, is very, very filled, very much filled with devotion. It's a very most pleasant narration to listen to. So if you have a chance, it's highly recommended because not only the devotion of Srila Narottam Thakur is super excellent, but this lady's devotion is also in tandem. She is definitely relishing what she wrote and what she's speaking about Srila Narottam Das Thakur. We know that Srila Narottam Das Thakur was born in East Bengal, Northeast Bengal, that his father was a zamindar, a so-called king, and the family was a very devotional family, except that he always displayed from childhood, from a very young age, a desire to connect with the highest levels of devotional service. And so at the age of about 12, maybe, something like that, he had a dream where Lord Nityananda said, you need to go in the Padmavati river. There's something for you there. So at the age of about 11 or 12, he went to the Padmavati river, and you all remember probably that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left his prema for Narottama Das. When Lord Chaitanya visited the river, he was saying, Narottam, Narottam, Narottam. And he was, of course, Narottam Das Thakur had not been born yet, but he decided that he was going to leave the highest form of prema for Narottam Das Thakur. People were asking, who is Narottam? Well, he hasn't been born yet. In the water of the Padmavati. And Padmavati came up and said, how will I know who is Narottam when this person comes and bathes in my river? He says, in the same way that the water is surging and rising upon the presence of Lord Chaitanya in the water, the manifestation will be similar. You will realize who this personality is by the surging of the water. And then you can give Narottam Das Thakur the prema that Lord Chaitanya left there for you. This is one of the many stories. There are so many stories about Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Highly privileged individual that even Lord Chaitanya himself did this, left his prema for him to take in the Padmavati river when he was like 11 or 12. And at that point, his parents were concerned about this extreme dedication of the child to spiritual topics, even though they were Vaishnavas and they were very devoted individuals, but they were concerned that it was going to be too much for the child. So after he went to the Padmavati river, he took on what Lord Gauranga had left for him. At that point, he decided that he needed to leave. He needed to renounce everything, the comfort of his home, the affection of his parents, everything, and go to Vrindavan and seek the association of the devotees in Vrindavan. So his father and his uncle went on a business trip, and he was able to escape by some kind of trick his mother and the guards' guidance or protection, so to speak. And he started running from all the way from Bengal to Vrindavan. And it was a very long journey. He was not aware exactly in what direction he needed to go, but he wanted to go to Vrindavan. And because that's what Lord Nityananda had told him in a dream, you need to go to Vrindavan. So eventually, he arrived in Vrindavan after going through a lot of difficulty and problems. His body was emaciated, and his feet were full of cuts and wounds. And just before he got to Vrindavan, he saw a brahmana come to him with a pot full of milk, and he said, "You drink this." And then after he drank it, all his pain, all his suffering, all his exhaustion, and all his cuts and wounds were cleared, were taken care of. So then he finally made it to Vrindavan with the idea of meeting the highly exalted personalities. He was born around the year 1531, around that time. And for Lord Chaitanya left in 1534. So by the time he got to Vrindavan, Lord Chaitanya wasn't there. But he was able to get onto the shelter of Srila Jiva Goswami. Srila Jiva Goswami had been given the task of writing all the the writings and kind of manually copy the books of Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and he was in charge of preserving the philosophy in a form of books. And so Srila Jiva Goswami gave shelter to Narottam Das Thakur and a couple of other disciples, Shyamananda Prabhu and Srinivas Thakur. So they studied under him, and they assisted him in the production of literature by copying, by assisting, so that eventually Srila Jiva Goswami, after some time, I'm not sure exactly how long, but I'm assuming some years of personal care from Srila Jiva Goswami to his disciples, he told them, you have to leave, you have to go to Bengal to distribute this literature. And it is considered to be the first attempt and the first effort to distribute the sacred writings of the Goswamis and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let me get my notes. And I'll mention, and I will talk also a little bit about his production, his personal production, and what made him really, really stand out in the line of Srila Jiva Goswami and the Rupa and Sanatan and Raghunath, Datta and Das. So, first of all, he was singled out by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I already told the story about he was ordered to go to the Padmavati River and get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya by absorbing all this prema. And Lord Chaitanya had orchestrated the mission for the distribution of this knowledge to unfold. Even though Lord Chaitanya wrote very little, it says that the Shikshastakam in some sources says there's some other writings. He commissioned the disciples and everybody around him to establish temples, to write literatures, do so many things in order to be able to spread this transcendental knowledge. So he was born in Katuri, that's Narottam Das Thakur, which is in East Bengal, and Krishna Das, a devotee from Vrindavan, came to Katuri, and he's the one who also taught Nityananda, Narottam Das Thakur all about the devotional process. And now he already went to Vrindavan. This is the sequence now. He's in Vrindavan, and he meets Lokanath Das Swami, and he wants to take initiation from him. But Lokanath Das Swami doesn't want to give initiation, doesn't want to have disciples, because he is completely in a mood of bhajan, and it was said that having disciples is an inconvenience for those who are totally absorbed in meditation and prayer and chanting and studying about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and experiencing those pastimes. So we know the story of how Narottam Das Thakur, was hiding during the day and cleaning the places where Lokanath had his he had to take care of his needs, his biological needs. And then after a time of this, Lokanath was able to understand that it was Narottam Das Thakur who had begged him to give him initiation, who was doing this menial service. And so he relented and he gave him initiation. So now with Srinivas, Shamananda, and Narottam, they go to Bengal, to East Bengal. And at the day at Kartik, Jiva wanted to have a big festival. And Jiva announces the need to go out to Bengal with the books. We know what happened, that the disciples were really very well established. These three personalities were established in Vrindavan. So for them to leave Vrindavan and go to Bengal was a big request. And they actually took the order of the Guru and proceeded to take all this literature with them. We know about the king who stole the books and how Srinivasacharya decided to stay to find out the culprit and to recover the books. But the other two devotees, Shivananda and Narottam, went on their different ways to develop the project of giving Krishna consciousness to everyone. So now, this point is about how Narottam Das Thakur was able to establish the tenets or re-establish the tenets of the philosophical system of Gaudiya Vaishnavism by writing poems. And he had a very beautiful voice. He was a very good musician. And he wrote all these poems in Bengali, in Bangla, with all the philosophy that was present in his poetry. And in this way, he was able to assimilate all the knowledge of the writings that he wrote. Two are preserved. One is this Bhakti Chandrika, Bhakti Prema Chandrika, and Prarthana, book of prayers. And after the departure of Lord Chaitanya, there had been kind of dissolving, the whole philosophical system was dissolving with different groups understanding their philosophy in different ways. So he was able to actually unify the whole project, unify the whole process of philosophical understanding with his writings, which were in simply Bengali, very poetic, and with the melodies that he composed and the voice that he had by which he was singing these beautiful prayers and these beautiful instructions to all of us. So in this way, he empowered the personalities to take up the process of devotional service and to give the process of devotional service, because his main intent was to unify the whole system and to be able to distribute to others the process of bhakti, the philosophical tenets of bhakti, and the practice of bhakti. So he's a very important personality, first of all, because Lord Chaitanya himself chose him to do this service. Secondly, because of his impeccable behavior, his conduct. Third, because he exemplified the process that he was teaching. And fourth, because he was able to spread this knowledge everywhere. And from there, we've had all of these other personalities systematically presenting the process of bhakti and being able to reach us in the most pure form through the words of Srila Prabhupada and his books. And another interesting thing about the simplicity of the presentation and the depth of the presentation is that we have that in the books of Srila Prabhupada also. Because Srila Prabhupada explains the philosophy in a way that is catchy, that we actually want to know more, that we want to hear more, that we want to read more, that we want to practice the process more, because he's imbued with power, like Narottam Das Thakur was imbued with this power of the purity of his consciousness to be able to give the pure process of bhakti to others. So there is a very important festival, it's the festival of Keturi, that's where he was originally from. And it marks the first festival to glorify also the Guru Purnim, Gaurachandra Purnim. And let me find this. In Keturi, Sri Narottam Das Thakur arranged the famous Keturi Mahotsava. This was the first Gurpurnim festival to honor the divine appearance day of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for what he did also, he installed 6 deities. The deities that were installed, and Shimananda was the actual Brahmana performing the rituals. Sri Gauranga Deva, Sri Vallabhi Kanta, Sri Vraj Mohan, Sri Krishna, Sri Radhakanta, and Sri Radha Raman. With his sweet voice, Narottam Das began a wonderful kirtan. His chanting filled the heavens and brought down tears of prema from the eyes of the devotees who were all sporting in the ocean of ecstasy. In the midst of their kirtan, the beneficent Sri Chaitanya himself and all his personal associates appeared and joined the kirtan. Like a flash of lightning in the midst of a mass of beautiful blue clouds, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared himself in the crowd of devotees through a divine manifestation. And this is an excerpt from this book, Bhakti Ratnakara. At that time, although Mahaprabhu had left the world years before, many different devotees saw Mahaprabhu in different ways. Those of Srinath Vipdam saw him more intimately as Nimai Chandra or Vishwambar, as they knew him during his youth. Those devotees were attracted to Mahaprabhu in Sakya and Vatsalya Ras. They are like his friends from his youth. The followers of the 6 Goswamis, who only knew Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi, related to him in the mood of Dasya Ras. And hundreds of devotees also worshipped Lord Chaitanya in an Aishvarya mood of awe and reverence. One of the elements of the poetry of, well, he covers all the aspects of bhakti, and one very important element is humility. So I'm going to be reading some of his verses in a minute. The festival is considered a major achievement in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Hundreds and hundreds of devotees were invited, which was something that wasn't done. So many people had been invited, so many devotees from all over India, not just local, but all over India. So he was establishing something that has been practiced all along by the different acharyas, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur before, our Srila Prabhupada. Including direct disciples of Mahaprabhu were invited, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita, disciples of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. At this time, many differences existed in the interpretation of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Acharya Yani Janavadevi came from the Kardaha with her entourage. Presiding over all the Vaishnavas, she resolved that their diverse conclusions into one consistent Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. And it was done by the mercy of Narottam Das Thakur and Mother Janava. For the first time, the festival featured many kirtan styles which integrated the glorification of Lord Chaitanya with the glorification of Lord Krishna and his pastimes. And because so many Vaishnavas were present at one place, it automatically made the Keturi festival extraordinary. It also acted as an important step toward unifying all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So I'm going to be reading now from a book. This book is called Sri Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Perhaps is the most important of all Sri Narottam Das Thakur's work during his manifest pastimes on earth a little over 400 years ago. Prema Bhakti Chandrika is known as Sri Rupanuga Gita, as it contains the essence of all the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema Bhakti Chandrika literally means the rays of the moonlight of loving devotional service to Lord Krishna. These rays of the moonlight of Prema Bhakti are so soothing that they cool down the effects of the burning fire of material existence, and they enable the conditioned soul to drink the nectar of loving devotional service of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. The personality and mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was summarized by Srila Sarup Damodara Goswami, and I was saying that Lord Chaitanya was orchestrating the whole explosion of the process of bhakti being given to everybody. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is this verse, Anarpita charin chirat karuna yavatirna kalo samarpayitum unatojwala rasam swabhakti shriyam Hari Purana Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipitaha. Interesting that Lord Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told his disciples, if you want to advance in the process of devotional service, you should read the books of Srila Narottam Das Thakur every day. That's something that we can also think about, having access to these books and reading the books every day. So the translation of this third verse, which the last line is Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha. May that Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachidevi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. That's a nice prayer. May that Lord Chaitanya, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no other incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant spiritual knowledge of the mellow taste of his service. How wonderful this is. This Unnata Jwala Rasa, the condensed elevated mellows of devotional service, is the real hankering of the followers of Srila Rupa Goswami, who are known as Rupanugas. So I'm going to get this text by Yadunandana Maharaj, who has written a book about Narottam Shiksha, one of the teachings of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. And he delineates the different presentations of the different aspects of the whole process. There is first service to the spiritual master and the devotees that begins, that's chapter 1. All of this presented in the two books of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Chapter 2, undivided devotional service, several sections here. Chapter 3, self-surrender or humility. And chapter 4, the path of loving attachment, to Radhika and her Sakhis. Chapter 5, chanting and remembering about the Lord. 6, calling out to the Lord and his devotees in a prayerful attitude. This is what Krishna Maharaj was talking about. We can call out to the holy name and establish a personal relationship and talk to the holy name and pray to the holy name to give us the understanding, the determination, the stamina. Chapter 7, the importance of the intercession of a devotee and other elements and embellishments in the poetry of Narottam Das Thakur. That would be chapter 8, and concluding reflections, chapter 9. So this study done by Yadunandana Swami, who is the head of the Yatra in Spain, was published in English, and it's a very analytical presentation of all these aspects. It's a very worthwhile book to read. So I thought that humility would be a good point to read about, because it's crucial when we recite the Shikshastakam. There is an entryway into the process, and that is by being more humble, more tolerant, devoid of desire for honor, and to give, by giving honor to others. At that point, the doors to the innermost chambers of the anchoring of the devotee start to open up. So unless there is humility, it's very important to practice, absolutely, but we need to consider the importance of humility. Perhaps, he writes, The greatest component of surrender found in the prayer, which is the verses 60, let's see, the Bhagavad Gita 65 and 66, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you're my dear friend. That's 66. And 65, abandon all varieties of, no, sorry, that was 65. And 66, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So in regards to this prayer, these two verses, Narottam Das Thakur expresses his humility by stating that there is no one more fallen than him, by declaring himself vulnerable to material desires, by expressing that he has committed countless offenses, by acknowledging that he lacks strength, by expressing fear of not overcoming the impediments on the path of devotional service, by saying that he is unhappy, by pleading to the Lord to not reject him, and overall by expressing that he always prays to the Lord. So this is actually directing. Well, that was his mood, but it's also directing as an instruction to us. That's why this book is called the Narottam Shiksha. It's a book filled with instructions based on the poems, the songs that Srila Narottam Thakur composed and sang so sweetly. Narottam Das Thakur's humility is as deep as an ocean. And then the author talks about his experience with that. The most advanced persons consider themselves the lowest among all. Does this not sound contradictory? On one hand, they are leading the community of devotees. On the other, they consider themselves lowly. In reflecting on this intriguing and fascinating spiritual phenomenon, a verse spoken by Ajamil in the Srimad Bhagavatam comes to mind. And this is from Canto 6, Chapter 2, verse 34, where Ajamil says, I am a shameless cheater who has killed his Brahminical culture. Indeed, I am sin personified. Where am I in comparison to the all-auspicious chanting or the holy name of the Lord Narayan? Ajamil had been a pious Brahmana in his youth. We know what happened to him. And he prayed. He actually, when he was going to be taken out of his body, he called on his son, Narayan, we know that. And the Lord always responds to those who call him. So that's what happened. Therefore, Lord Narayan sent his messengers, the Vishnudutas, to the rescue. It can be stated, I'm reading for several sections here. It can be stated that the feelings of humility of a devotee are produced by a combination of perceptions of the reality of life. When we analyze, when we go a little bit within and become a little introspective, we understand that life is teaching us how to be humble. We need to actually take up the lesson and apply it. On one hand, a devotee appreciates the unlimited transcendental qualities and wonderful character of Krishna. On the other, the devotee sees his or her minute existence, plus the many sins and offenses he or she has committed against Krishna in this and previous lifetimes. In addition, devotees experience that Krishna is unbelievably compassionate toward our shortcomings. When all these factors mix in the heart of a devotee, they provoke a natural feeling of humility and gratitude. The greater these perceptions are, the more a devotee feels and lives humbly. So this is a very important point. And it goes on, and there are all these prayers that Srila Narottam Thakur has elaborated on humility. Okay, so there is this book that Mother Kamalini loaned me, so I could, and this is the book written by Sitala Dasi, Mother Sitala Dasi, whose presentation I have listened to in YouTube, and it is full of beautiful stories. It's written with such devotion that the devotion actually comes out of the pages and penetrates at some level within our consciousness. So I'm just going to open the book somewhere and read a little something. Preaching, this is what came up. Harinam and Ramakrishna. One day, as Narottam Das and Ramachandra was the disciple of his companion, Ramachandra Kaviraj. So he was the disciple of Srinivasacharya, and he established a very deep friendship with Narottam Das Thakur. When Narottam left the body, Srinivas felt completely devoid of any life, and also his life ended. So one day, as Narottam and Ramachandra were walking down the shady path to the Padmavati to bathe, they noticed two young Brahmana boys herding goats, sheep, and buffaloes. "Look at those handsome boys," Ramachandra whispered to Narottama. "They must be taking those helpless animals to be sacrificed to Goddess Durga. What a shame that such bright-looking boys are wasting their lives worshipping Devi." Narottam nodded. Then an idea came to him. Quickening his pace, he said, "Come, let's catch up with them." As they approached the boys, Narottam slowed down and began talking to Ramachandra in a loud voice. His friend, Ramachandra Kaviraj. "How can people be so foolish as to waste their time worshipping the demigods? The Supreme Lord Krishna clearly explains Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Demigod worship is for the less intelligent. People who don't understand the goal of a spiritual life worship the demigods in hopes of receiving material gain in exchange. While it's true they may achieve some puny temporary reward by their worship, they will never stop the cycle of repeated birth and death, nor will they taste the eternal nectar of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord." So they were talking like this within the hearing of these two young boys who were taking all these goats and buffaloes and to be sacrificed. Ramachandra played along and, speaking even louder, said, "Yes, it's unfortunate. And to make matters worse, many demigod worshippers get themselves entangled in animal sacrifice. The deluding power of Maya is so strong that such people actually believe they are performing meritorious religious acts by offering the demigods the bloody flesh of innocent animals. But instead of becoming pious, they are simply accumulating sinful reactions and have to suffer life after life." After barely a few moments, it was obvious that their conversation had caught the attention of the two boys. Narottama could see they were listening intently and gradually edging closer to hear more clearly. With a faint smile, Narottama continued, "Some people think that animal sacrifice is commendable because it appears to be condoned in some portions of the Vedas. But the animal sacrifices performed in Vedic times were not done to kill the animals. They were meant to test the efficacy of the Vedic mantras." As he continues talking, and the boys are listening, "But this is not possible in this age." The two boys stopped walking also, trying in vain to be inconspicuous. "Why not?" Ramachandra asked. And Narottama said, "For start, there are no qualified brahmanas to conduct such yajnas. Moreover, if there is even a tiny discrepancy in the execution of the sacrifice, the person performing it is held responsible for the animal's death." He paused dramatically and then added, "It's not different from a murderer being held responsible for killing another man." The boys looked at each other with alarm. "I'm sure any intelligent man can understand that animal sacrifice cannot be successful in this age," Ramachandra said as he and Narottama began walking again. "The only sacrifice recommended in Kali Yuga is Sankirtan Yajna, the congregational chanting of the Lord's holy names, specifically the chanting of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the greatest of all mantras. So, to make a story short, this boys took shelter of Narottam Das Thakur and became his disciples, and then reached higher levels of personal development in bhakti. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Please read these books, they're amazing. And if you get a chance, listen to Sitala Dasi on YouTube, talking about her research and so many points, beautiful points with such deep devotion. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Asa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Pan Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adipurusham.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavali Askachadi Satarine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavali Askachari Satarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jai Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Shri Radhe, Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Nanda Shri Radhe, Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Shri Radhe, Radha Goloka Nanda, Radha Goloka Nanda, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan 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 Jaya Giri Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Vichara Sincere Sadhushi Shimas My Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premska Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopana Shaima Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mai Pranavani Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Brihad Mridanga Ki. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories. Shri Guru and Garanga Srila Prabhupada. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahatavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amitasmarane Nakala Etadrishikra Bhagavan Mamapi Dordaiva Midrishamiha Janina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Chororapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nandanam Nanjanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Rohita Ki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Ipayata Vavada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrishim Vichintaya Nayanam Galarju Daraya Varanam Gad Gaduraya Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam